In 2025, we had Back to the Future return to the theaters for its 40th anniversary. So seeing that on the big screen for the very first time, it got me thinking, what other 80s movies and franchises are about to return or even be rebooted as we head here into 2026 and 2027? One movie that's been firmly on my radar heading into 2026 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, while there hasn't been a massive nationwide re-release officially announced just yet, there are already confirmed 45th anniversary theatrical screenings as well as live in-concert events planned in multiple cities. So this means that Raiders is very likely going to be back on the big screen some form in 2026. The official 45th anniversary release is going to be in June, so more than likely this summer. And for me, personally, this one hits really hard because Indiana Jones is one of my all-time favorite characters. As you can tell from my background, I love Indiana Jones and a lot of the other 80s nostalgia pieces. Now, of the 5 films, the only 2 I've never seen in theaters are Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Seeing Back to the Future in a theater for the very first time is exactly the kind of reminder that sparked the whole conversation in the first place. And I genuinely can't wait to finally experience one of my favorite movies of all time on the big screen. So, in addition to Indiana Jones, let's take a look at what's already been set in motion and what's coming next. So first up, we have Voltron. Voltron wasn't just another cartoon in the 80s, it was one of the first shows to truly sell the idea of team-based heroics. We had 5 pilots, 5 personalities, and 1 shared responsibility. If one of those pieces failed, the whole thing failed. Now, this idea feels incredibly modern now, but back then, it was groundbreaking. The problem is Voltron has never worked outside of animation. Every attempt stalled because the technology simply wasn't there. 5 transforming robotic lions forming a single massive robot isn't cheap, and it's not forgiving if it looks even slightly off. This is one of the few 80s reboots that could either be legendary or completely forgettable. Next up, we have Masters of the Universe. He-Man was one of my all-time favorites as a kid. Heck, I still have my original Battle Cat, and I'm pretty sure some of my figures also survived as well. Now, the thing with He-Man is it wasn't just a toy commercial, it was mythology for kids. We had swords, we had destiny, we had power, we had fighting scenes, we had corruption, and of course we had the identity between Adam and He-Man itself. Now, that 1987 movie, it struggled because it didn't fully trust that mythology. It ran from Eternia instead of embracing it. And that being said, I still very much liked and enjoyed the movie, even though it primarily took place on Earth. But from everything that we've gathered so far, this new version seems to be kind of doing the opposite. It does have another Earth-based origin, but from what I've been able to see, we also do have a lot going on in Eternia itself. So Adam isn't going to just be gaining his power, he's going to have to decide when and why to use it. So that's kind of like a more modern storytelling. The real test here isn't going to be Skeletor or the effects, it is going to play a big part in it, of course, but it's going to be the tone for the movie. If this movie leans too ironic, it's going to fail. If it leans too serious, it loses the fun. What makes this movie feel promising is that it's finally treating He-Man like fantasy and not parody. With Masters of the Universe releasing this summer, I've already been seeing a ton of great 80s toy throwbacks, especially at places like Walmart and Target. But one of the most impressive things I've seen recently is a statue from Prime 1 Studios. It's a 124 centimeter or 4 foot tall He-Man statue that has insane detail. Now, this statue is coming in at around $2,000 for the ultimate version, so that's going to be way out of my price range. But it does show just how much confidence that still exists today for all 80s types of properties. Now we get to Ghostbusters. So Netflix is continuing the story with a new animated series, and honestly, animation might be where Ghostbusters works best. The original films were never about action. They were about the tone, the humor, and absurdity. Animation is going to remove all those limitations that live action kind of struggled with in the most recent years. This is going to allow us to basically have unlimited ghosts, a much bigger lore, and introduce some stranger ideas. Now, on top of the movies, we've also had 2 great Ghostbuster games. There's Ghostbusters the video game, which kind of, in my opinion, is the true 3rd movie, even though it's technically non-canon. And the second game, which is Spirits Unleashed. This one is canon, and it continues this Ghostbusters story after the Afterlife movie. Now, the first game, Ghostbusters the game, takes place in the 1990s and picks up after Ghostbusters 2. There's some generally fantastic lore in here, so I'm hoping that this animation series, or possibly future movies, will actually make this game canon, because it fits perfectly right in between Ghostbusters 2 and Afterlife. Now, Spirits Unleashed, this continues the story after Afterlife. It introduces ghosts from the real Ghostbusters and also pulls from decades of established lore. Ghostbusters has always been an all-time favorite movie of mine, so I'm very excited to see what this new series brings, and more importantly, the animation that lets Ghostbusters age forward, not backwards. With this, we're going to be able to introduce new teams, maybe new cities, and new threats without constantly having to lean on those legacy actors. I do love all the original actors, so hopefully they will be able to reprise their role, offer their voices just like they did that Ghostbuster video game. Our next confirmed movie is Gremlins 3. Now, Gremlins has always been darker than most people think. The first film is genuinely mean-spirited in places, and that's exactly why it worked. Gremlins 2 softened everything into a parody, so it didn't fare as well. So with this third film going back to darker, it isn't that shocking. It's kind of like a course correction. From what we've gathered, this is not going to be a kid's movie. It's going to be more of a franchise-defining one. If Gremlins 3 is truly committing to that idea, it could end up being one of the most surprising reboots on this list. This next one is a rumored possible TV series movie, but it is Knight Rider. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know I am definitely excited about this one. They say Knight Rider was never truly about the car, but let's be honest, it absolutely was. This is the show that made me absolutely fall in love with the Pontiac Trans Am. That said, Knight Rider was also about the trust between a human and a machine, and in the 80s, KITT was fantasy. Today, all the AI assistants, the surveillance, the autonomous vehicles, all those are real. So that's what's going to make Knight Rider more relevant now more than it's ever been. We all remember the multiple attempted reboots. We had the 90s movie, which wasn't too great. We also had Team Knight Rider TV series, and the more recent reboot where KITT was turned into a Ford Mustang. Now look, I love the '69 Mustang. It's one of my all-time favorite cars, but you simply cannot take a competitor brand and expect fans to embrace that rebranding. In my opinion, that decision alone was a major impact and doomed that reboot from the start. Also, it didn't help that turning both KITT and car into Transformers definitely didn't help. So here's hoping this new attempt finally revives KITT properly. Also, the fact that the team behind Cobra Kai is pitching this gives me real hope. Next, we have another beloved 80s comedy, which is now in post-production, Spaceballs 2. The fact that this sequel waited so long is either going to be a blessing or a curse. After all, we had Spaceballs, the animated series from 2008, and that only lasted one season. Honestly though, I don't think they really gave it a fair shot. But here's why a movie sequel might actually work now. We have modern pop culture, and they are obsessed with franchises, reboots, cinematic universes, as well as nostalgia. Now, Spaceballs was a parody before that even became the norm. So the fact that George Lucas was fully on board with the original parody, and even said that he loved it, this gives me confidence they're going to knock this one out of the park. And let's be honest, we could all use a good laugh right about now anyway. Plus, we're going to be seeing the return of some great actors who have been kind of retired for a really long time. We're going to be able to see Rick Moranis reprise his role as Dark Helmet. I can't wait to see this. It's going to be a fantastic movie, and I'm already looking forward to it. Last up, we have the Highlander reboot. Now, Highlander has always had great ideas trapped in kind of a messy execution, but the fact that we had immortality, we had lots of fun memories, we got to experience time differential, and of course we experienced lots of loss. Those themes hit a lot harder as audiences get older, which obviously us as Xennials or Gen X, older millennials, this is oddly well timed for us. I recently rewatched the first movie, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But it spawned multiple sequels as well as a 6-season TV series, which ultimately led to the Highlander Endgame movie in 2000. And I thought that was actually a pretty solid conclusion to the franchise. That is, of course, until I heard about Henry Cavill starring in this reboot. Cavill taking this on isn't just stunt casting, he understands fandom as well as mythology. Pairing him with Chad Stahelski means that this won't shy away from physicality or consequences. We all saw the swordsmanship that Cavill displayed in The Witcher, so I can only imagine what he's going to be bringing to the table here. When this Highlander reboot succeeds, it won't be just because of the sword fight. it's going to be because it finally treats immortality as a burden, not as a gimmick. And as always, there can be only one. So looking back at Back to the Future, returning to the theaters in 2025, and then looking forward to 2026 and 2027, it's clear this isn't just a passing trend. Movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark coming back for anniversary screenings, along with all these new projects such as Voltron, He-Man, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Knight Rider, Highlander, and Spaceballs, this shows that the 80s never really left. These stories didn't just define a decade, they defined characters, worlds, and the ideas that still resonate today. Now, some of these movies are definitely being revisited, some are being reimagined, and others are finding entirely new audiences for the first time. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, hit that like and subscribe button below. I'm still a growing channel, but I definitely want to be bringing a lot more 1980s nostalgia, Xennial type factors to this channel. I definitely appreciate your support. So until the next one, you guys have a great one.